Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Easy Peasy Show brought to you by Sportasonic. You can listen to every episode of the Easy Peasy Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or anywhere else you usually listen to your podcast on. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone. This is Zach. Thank you for tuning in. Today is September 19th of 2023. It is Tuesday. Yes, we were releasing this episode a day later than usual, but we got caught up in our Sunday night recording. And so now we've pushed it back to Tuesday. We're going to consolidate our Monday and Wednesday episode into Tuesday. We may do it more in the future. It just depends what our schedule looks like. But yeah, due to unforeseen circumstances, we are now recording tonight. Right before the Monday Night Football games, a doubleheader should be exciting. Panthers and Saints, and then Steelers and Browns should be two interesting games. Two different, two very different levels of competition amongst the two teams. But I'll let the listeners sort out what I mean by that. But yeah, we'll recap the weekend here really quick and then move on to our winners and losers of the weekend. So start off with some college football, early Saturday morning games, including LSU Mississippi State. Oh, what a good game by LSU! Kind of surprising for LSU considering their past performances. The Florida State game not pretty, obviously, and then they go in Grambling and take care of business there. But I know me and Peyton had our concerns about the defense for LSU, but they showed up. I mean, Mississippi State, they're no Alabama or Georgia. Don't get me wrong, but I mean Mississippi State is no slouch either. I mean, they're SEC and they'll be decently competitive in the SEC this year. Whether it was a combination of them struggling and LSU doing good, I'm not sure, or if it was like one more than the other. Not sure. But yeah, LSU takes care of business, beats them 41-14, pretty decisive fashion. Jane Daniels and Malik Neighbors go off. Neighbors gathering 239 yards and two touchdowns on 13 catches. So, yep. See if LSU can keep carrying that momentum. Good for them. Georgia had a little bit of a scare against South Carolina. They weren't looking too good in the first half. I believe they went to halftime down 11. It was 14-3. Then they woke up and realized they're the best team in the nation, took care of business, ended up beating South Carolina 24-14. So yeah, good for them. They didn't allow the first half to get into their head too bad. Edwards came out strong, had 20 carries for 118 yards and got himself a touchdown. Spencer Rattler looked okay. Like I said, the first half, like I said, South Carolina looked like they weren't going to run away with it, but they were going to make it a game. And then, sure enough, they got shut out by that stellar Georgia defense. Another good game, Florida State and Boston College. Um, Forgive me because I forgot the name of the game. It was a rivalry game, and celebrating the 9/11 or a certain 9/11 victim. But yeah, Boston College kind of brought it to Florida State. Um, they really made it competitive. I believe Florida State ended up winning by two, 31-29. Um, but yeah, like I said, Florida State kind of struggled a little bit. But like I said, I mean, maybe the game just meant more. Boston College kind of brought it to them. But yeah, moving on to another game, I believe Florida and Tennessee was another very good game, at least for Florida, not so much Tennessee. Tennessee got a little exposed by Florida. I saw an explosive first half and specifically second quarter for Florida. Scored 20 points in the second quarter alone. Yeah, ended up beating Tennessee 29-16. Like I said, it was Tennessee's the quarterback for Tennessee, Milton. It was his first real test, an away game in the SEC. Like I said, he hasn't had like a true test yet for that, and nighttime game too in Gainesville. And yeah, I mean, he did pretty well. He did a lot better than I was expecting. But yeah, Florida really just showed up, capitalized on Tennessee's mistakes. Tennessee never really got to see him, really never seemed to get going. And kind of weird for such a highly ranked team. But yeah, Florida upsets Tennessee pretty handedly, 29-16. Another SEC game, Alabama and South Florida, which was pretty close, tied up at 3 at halftime. Alabama having the quarterback struggles as we kind of predicted early before the season even started, and I think they're going to be even changing quarterbacks once again for this next upcoming game. So I know Saban's not happy about that, but Alabama was able to kind of pull out a tough win against a 1-1 South Florida. South Florida showed up, and they brought it to Bama. Like I said, unfortunately for Bama, it's not looking too good for them. Like I said, the dynasty really isn't there anymore. But hey, for what it's worth, I think Alabama still has a very talented roster. They just got to figure it out sooner than later if they don't want to keep slipping in the rankings. Another good game that came down to the wire. I know all these games are SEC, except the Florida State Boston College game. But another good game came down to a 61-yard field goal. Kansas State. Missouri upsets Kansas State. Like I said, a walk-off field goal. I mean, amazing. It was drilled too. I mean, no question about it. Good for Missouri. I know the kicker's on a high right now. He's the man on campus. Good for him. And once again, another good game. And last game I'll cover here. I know a lot of good games this weekend. It was kind of a weird weekend for college football, but the last game I'll cover here, a, was Colorado and Colorado State. Colorado State brought it to Colorado after all the trash talk. They kind of backed it up, brought it to overtime. Colorado was like a 20-point favorite or something, and Colorado State kind of showed, um, you know, kind of kind of shut Colorado up really. No one's that high on Colorado anymore. Unfortunately, Travis Hunter gets hit. People argue it's a cheap shot. It's football. It's whatever. Unfortunately, his injury sustained, I believe, is like a lacerated liver or something. So he's going to be out for a few weeks at least. I think. I know the initial report said it's going to be about 3 weeks, but I expect it's going to be more than that. That's not like an injury you just put a timetable on. But yeah, Colorado was able to pull out a gutsy win against Colorado State. And, now they got to play Oregon next week. Good luck to them. To Colorado, I mean, because Oregon's probably about to run through them. They're no TCU. I'll just put it like that. That's just the best way I can put it. But yeah, that'll do it for college football. Move on to what was next. What was next? We'll go with UFC. Noche UFC. It was a pretty exciting card. Some anomalies. We had a no contest, and we also had a split draw. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting card. But yeah, I'll run through the winners and the the draws, I guess too. But yeah, to start off the card, we have Josephine Knutson winning via unanimous decision against Marty Mann. Knutson climbs to 7-0. Next, Charlie Campbell knocks out Alex Reyes, guy coming off of his 6-year layoff. Shocker, knocks him out. And about 3 minutes into the fight, left hook and then a right straight knocks Alex Reyes out, and Charlie Campbell's now 8-2. Moving on to a women's MMA fight, Tracy Cortez wins via unanimous decision against Yasmin Jazavicius. Cortez is now 11-1. The next fight ended in a no contest. It should have been a very interesting fight, but ended up, not being. But I will say, I believe Edgar Chairez had Lacerda in a submission, pretty tight submission. Lacerda went limp. Ref got a little confused, stopped the fight. And I guess I don't blame him. But I guess at the end of the day, you also, as a ref, you have to be really watching out for that stuff. Because I mean, as soon as Chairez let go, and Lacerda was like, really, you could tell he wasn't out. It was like, ooh, it wasn't pretty at all. But moving on me, Peyton's one of the fighters we're really high on and love to see his future. Roman Kopylov gets another knockout on Josh Frim 4.5 minutes into the second round. Knocks him out via vicious punch to the liver. Dropped Josh Frim. Yeah, Kopylov climbs to 12-2. I expect to see a jump up in competition for Kopylov. Moving on, we have Loopy wins via submission via rear naked choke in the second round against Elise Reed. Loopy's now 11-3 in the UFC, or I'm sorry, in her MMA career. Then moving on to our main card, we have Kyle Nelson going up against Fernando Padilla. Nelson wins via unanimous decision against Padilla. I think that may have been the only upset on the card, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least major upset. I know there's a lot of this card was full of chalky fighters or fighters who were like moderate favorites. So yeah, Kyle Nelson gets it done as the underdog, climbs to 15-5-1. Next fight, Zell Huber going against Giagos. Zell Huber wins via anaconda choke submission. In the second round, about halfway through, Zell Huber climbs to 14-1, continuing to make a name for himself, building up his hype train. And speaking of hype trains, the one that was derailed for Raul Rosas Jr. is now back. Gets a knockout on Terrence Mitchell a minute into the fight. Actually, kind of surprising. I mean, I know it's Terrence Mitchell, so to be fair, I use the word surprising here very loosely. Surprised that Raul Rosas won via knockout, not dominant like takedown and submission or like ground and pound. It was a straight up. I mean, like knocked him on his butt from standing and then got on top of him and then finished him in mount. So yeah, it was very nice to see Raul Rosas Jr. get back on track there. He's 8-1 now. Still not even 20 years old, so good for him. moving on to our co-main event, Jack Della Maddalena defeated Kevin Holland via split decision. That was a very good fight. One that Kevin Holland probably could have won had he wrestled, but as we know, or grappled, I should say. But as we know, Kevin Holland hates to do that because like I said, not a very high IQ fighter. But yeah, Jack Della Maddalena gets his signature win in the UFC. Should see consistent, Kevin Holland level type of fighters now. Won't be fighting bottom of the barrel or like middle of the pack guys anymore. He'll definitely have a number next to his name or a higher number next to his name, and um, probably look into trying to get into the championship conversation. His hype train keeps moving, and then the UFC Women's Flyweight Championship ends in a split draw. Yeah, one of the judges scored the last round 10-8. I don't know how you do that. Sure, Grasso won the last round, but 10-8, no, absolutely not. But yeah, Alex Grasso keeps her belt. Shevchenko, like I said, neither of them lost, neither of them won, but just due to the rules, Grasso keeps the belt. Maybe we'll see these women fight another time. It'd be very interesting. Like I said, I was kind of surprised actually about Grasso's output. I think, like I said, she's on. I may hate to say she's on Shevchenko level, but I mean, like I said, maybe just like I said, Shevchenko's just lost a step, and Grasso is just, kind of like the future is now old man kind of thing. So yeah, maybe that's where we're at now in the UFC flyweight women's flyweight decision. So good showing for Grasso. I was very impressed. And if these women fight again, I'd probably lean Grasso. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick against Shevchenko, but I don't know. Very interesting watching these women fight. It was a very competitive card all around, and just the fact that the championship fight ended in a split draw really shows how competitive this whole card was. And moving on, lastly, recap. We'll cover some of the NFL games. Um, First one, obviously, a very important noon game for the AFC North. We had Ravens going up against the Bengals. Ravens outlast Bengals 27-24 and was a very competitive game. Joe Burrow once again struggles. Lamar Jackson and in the new offense kind of shines a little bit, shows that he's a dual threat, not to be messed with. Definitely nothing like his MVP season, but he's still showing that he's like easily like a top 8 quarterback in the league. And Joe Burrow, like I said, after signing the massive contract, is still seeming to struggle out there. Jamar Chase is showing his inconsistencies again, but at least T. Higgins looked good. After a week of 0 catches and being targeted a lot, T. Higgins kind of takes advantage of a weakened Ravens secondary. And you'd like to see for the Bengals at least. I know they kind of start off every season like this, and then they go like on these huge runs and end up making it to like championship games. But if you're Zach Taylor, well, I don't know who the offensive coordinator for the Bengals is, but I mean, I wish you know the offensive line isn't bad anymore. You don't have to tell Joe Burrow to get the ball out in under 2 seconds. Because, I mean, it's like you see Joe Burrow, he scans the field for maybe 2 Mississippis and then just checks down. And, man, as a Ravens fan, it was just getting aggravating watching that. And it wasn't even successful. I was just aggravated. I was just aggravated for Joe Burrow, being the LSU fan. You wish, like I said, maybe the offense could open up a little bit more. And kind of how the Ravens play now. You'd kind of wish the Bengals kind of play like that. And maybe they probably look at this and probably start to open it up a little bit more. But now you got Joe Burrow kind of having to deal with an injury. He said he re-aggravated his calf, and I think, to be honest, he probably wasn't fully healed all the way back. Like I said, you can see he's kind of lost a step, and now he's lost about 5 steps because like I said, he just admitted that it's definitely sore. It's going to be day to day for him. So yeah, we'll see what the future has in store for the Bengals. And like I said, Ravens looking good, 2-0 start, beat a division rival, and move on to another game. What was an interesting game? Seahawks and Lions. Yes, they go to overtime. What was a very good showing for Geno Smith, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery got injured during the game, I believe, but nothing too serious. I believe he'll be back soon. But yeah, Seahawks end up outlasting the Lions to go 1-1. They win in overtime, 37-31. Another overtime game, Chargers and Titans. Titans win with a walk-off field goal in overtime from Nick Folk. Chargers are 0-2, kind of surprising. I know surprising to a lot of people. And I don't know how big of the favorites Chargers were. They should be favorites going up against the Titans at least. But hey, home field advantage for the Titans. Like I said, they got it done against the Chargers. Good for them. Titans 1-1, Chargers 0-2. Moving on to another game. Giants and Cardinals. Cardinals had a humongous lead, I believe, like a 20 to nothing lead going into halftime, and of course they blow it. Final score 31-28. Giants. Daniel Jones had himself a day, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. And yeah, so Giants somehow found a way to come back. Now they're 1-1. Cardinals fall to 0-2. And unfortunately, Giants fans, I know they're a little concerned because they're definitely not looking like the team they were last season. But hey, and it is what it is. I think the Giants will be okay. Like I said, winning record. I mean, I don't know. That's gonna be kind of hard, but I mean, best of luck to them, especially these first 2 games. They definitely haven't looked all that good. I mean, obviously the last 2 quarters they played, this last game they looked great. If they look like that for the rest of the season, granted you're playing against the Cardinals, but if you look like that for the rest of the season, I think you're in good shape. One last game here we'll cover. Let's see, Commanders and Broncos. Yeah, I think everyone kind of saw the highlight. Game came down to, of course, a classic Russell Wilson Hail Mary, and of course, in classic Russell Wilson Hail Mary fashion, it gets completed. And sure enough, they had to go for two just to tie it up, and unfortunately, they don't get it. So, yeah, Russell Wilson, Sean Payton era Broncos fall to 0-2, and 0-2 at home too. Like I said, Russell Wilson had a decent day, but like I said, they just weren't able to get it done against the Commanders. Commanders go to 2-0. The Commanders looking like a good team, able to get everything together. Brian Robinson Jr. had himself had himself a good day. So yeah, those are just some quick games. I'll cover one more bonus game, I guess. Packers and Falcons. I'll mainly just cover it mainly because there's one player. Even as atrocious as the Falcons' offense is to watch, it's a little, not frightening is the word, but it's a little disgusting, I guess, a little sick, you might say. But hey, Bijan Robinson, I mean, man, dude is everything as he was advertised. I mean, if you followed him in his Texas days, you knew this dude was going to tear the league up, and sure enough, I mean, he's doing video game moves out there. And like I said, NFL is going to be posting his highlights for years to come, I feel like. So, yeah, good pickup by the Falcons and Bijan Robinson. You definitely got your running back of the future, and probably the running back of the future for the whole NFL right there in Bijan. Obviously, if you're the Falcons, you want to see Desmond Ritter take a little bit of a step up, but then again, I mean, I mean, it's going to be hard not to keep giving the ball to Bijan. So, Desmond Ritter, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. I mean, you have decent weapons on your offense now, but like I said, it's just up to you to it's really just up to the Falcons to figure it out, see what they can do. But yeah, that'll cover the news, and we'll go ahead and move on to our winners and losers of the weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Zach, for that weekend recap. Yeah,
You're welcome.
we'll move into our winners and losers of the weekend. Starting off from my first winner, I do have LSU. Seemingly every ranked team had a struggle win this weekend. LSU really went out there against Mississippi State in a pretty tough place to play with all the cowbells and all the noise that Mississippi State fans make, and won convincingly against a really good defensive team in Mississippi State. Won 41-14. Offense was firing on all cylinders. Jaden Daniels looked great. Malik Neighbors looked great. Defense looked great. I think there was a stretch where Mississippi State had 11 straight plays that went for 0 or negative yardage. So, I mean, that's wonderful to see as an LSU fan. So, yeah, I have them as my first winner.
Nice. One of my winners I have is the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not sure if you saw the news or not, but they signed Kelly Oubre Jr. So congrats to the 76ers. You just got 100 times hotter. And considering he's probably going to end up replacing James Harden once James Harden figures out what's going on with him. Yeah, that's the 76ers will automatically be a team to look out for just because they're so hot. Yeah. Winner 76ers.
Yeah, another winner I have is the Ravens. I mean, hey, they looked great again. Bengals didn't look great, but Ravens offense looked great. I think Todd Monken is really going to open up Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to open that offense, and I'm gonna call it now. I'm switching my prediction. I have the Ravens winning the AFC North now.
Nice. That's what I'm happy to see. You're on the you've been enlightened. I'm happy to see it. And yeah. Another winner I have. I'm going to go with America. I know this is the third time I've used America now. I used them as a winner and a loser last week, but they're definitely a winner, especially today, the day of the recording, because today's National Cheeseburger Day. If there's anything America loves more than sports, it's cheeseburgers. So yeah, National Cheeseburger Day, automatic winner is America and all of our people. We may have added, I don't know, a solid like 2% of mass to the planet Earth, just the United States alone. But yeah, regardless, we're all winners over here. I don't know if you've indulged in National Cheeseburger Day or not, Peyton. But
No, I have not. I've actually been trying to eat a little bit healthier. So
all right, well, you're on American. Go glue your hand to a
yeah,
road or something, freaking freak.
I'm trying to lose some weight. Unhappy with myself right now. So
Yeah, I'd be pretty unhappy if I was you too. I don't blame you. You know what would
yeah,
make you happier though? A cheeseburger.
maybe so. My last winner, Alexa Grasso, although she didn't technically win, she retained her belt, and now they're talking about maybe not giving Shevchenko the immediate rematch. So that's a win in my eyes for Grasso. She gets to hold on to the belt a little bit longer.
Yeah, to play off that, I was gonna have my last winner on my, I guess, a legit winner for me. I guess is women's MMA. As much as I dog on them, the flyweight division. Um, I will say Grasso kind of impressed me for what it's worth. I do think, I guess I'm now in the boat of Shevchenko's definitely lost a step. She's definitely not, as dominant as she used to be. I guess that's just something that comes with age. I guess she just hit that wall and hit it hard. But that's where she's at in her career. And yeah, good for Grasso for being very aggressive. I mean, did she dominate the fight? No, but neither did Shevchenko. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the fight ended in a draw, but I think that's a testament to how competitive that fight was. So yeah, Mexico still retains one of their champions, and yeah, Shevchenko's got to do some reevaluation. I'm not sure if she's ever really going to get a title shot again. Like so, if she's not up for an immediate rematch, then I really don't see a road where she gets another title shot at this point, especially just considering her age.
Yeah, and I would even argue, like, I mean, lately, women's sports in general. I mean, I know it's still a tick behind men's sports, but it's it's getting a little bit more competitive, a little bit more interesting to watch. I think the talent gap between the top and the bottom is kind of evening out, which quite honestly makes men's sports a lot better than women's sports. I feel like at least. But man, I feel like they should also make some kind of changes to like the rules, like baseball to softball. Obviously, shorter field, shorter base pass, shorter pitching mound, something like that. And if I don't, I
This
mean, I'm
dude
sure
here.
I'm sure you've never watched softball, but it is a lot more. It is very entertaining on par with baseball, if not even more entertaining than baseball. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the boat of golf is more entertaining than baseball, but yeah.
I mean, you could be
So
wrong.
what you're pushing for is a step back as far as American advancements, right? You're saying rather than equality, we should have women have the easier route to do the same things as men do.
Yeah, if you want to twist it that way, then I'm all for it.
I'm not twisting. I'm just saying exactly what she said, word for word, bar for bar.
Yep, that's cool. Yeah,
All right,
I'm in favor
all
of
right,
it if it
all
makes
right.
women's
Peyton
sports
Wagner
more
hates
entertaining.
women, so
Anyway,
I guess specifically
uh,
women in sports.
moving on. I have actually two losers this weekend. My first loser being Foster Moreau, since he beat cancer and now has to play with Derek Carr. I mean that's
Another
just
cancer,
awful.
yeah.
Exactly, that's just horrible. I wouldn't wish that
I mean,
on anybody.
yeah,
But
cancer and car
wish,
share too many letters
yeah,
for them
and by
not to
that
be
mean,
related.
by what I mean is not wishing that upon anybody is having to receive the ball from Derek Carr.
Hmm.
Uh, Obviously, I wouldn't wish cancer on anybody either, but man, that almost seems more. I mean um,
Oh, watch what you're saying.
that sounds more promising at this point.
Hmm.
Um, no, all jokes aside, I hate cancer. So, um,
Bold statement.
bold statement.
How brave of you. How
Yeah, no kidding.
I should say how brave
And
of you to say that.
my real loser for the weekend was the Colorado hype train. Definitely took a significant uh hit having to go to double overtime with Colorado State.
Womp womp.
Colorado State is not a good team. I think everybody knows that. And Colorado, honestly, they look like the Colorado State looked like the better team that
Hmm.
whole game. So I think they're gonna have a really tough test against somebody like Oregon this week.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get cream pie by Oregon.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was told today also that Colorado Colorado would roll over Oregon and roll over USC. So uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
can't wait
Oh,
for
and
that to
Shador Sanders is 10 times better than Caleb Williams.
happen.
Couldn't I mean y'all know how much I don't like Caleb Williams and I mean, this dude had me so mad. I was pulling out Caleb Williams stats defending the man.
I mean, I would say Shador Sanders is probably better than Burrow right now. Um, that's about it though. Yeah, highest paid. Yeah, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that. I love seeing a rival have a downfall. Anyways, yeah, one of the losers. I agree with your losers, by the way. Some good choices. Oh, shoot. I had a really good loser. As while you're talking, I thought of it. I was gonna say, oh man, this one's a banger, but now I've lost it. I think I was gonna say something about college football. But I don't know if you saw. Speaking of losing, Max Verstappen. I say he you don't really lose in Formula One, but I guess to him it's losing because he didn't get first place this weekend. Which
Can't believe it.
yeah, I know. Unfortunately, the car that he was in sucked on the track that they had to race on,
That
I
makes
should
two
say.
cars.
And yeah, and so yeah, he finished fifth. He didn't even get a podium, which was kind of a shock, but for what it's worth. I think it was good. It was a very good race, and the only reason it was a good race is because Max Verstappen wasn't involved. Um, I guess I just had to put it like that. It was a very entertaining race, probably the most entertaining race I've seen in like years, at least when I first started since I started watching it. But yeah. Anyways, I think one of my losers was going to be Colorado as well. Unfortunately, yeah, you don't look good against Colorado State. Your competition's only going to get tougher and tougher. And on top of that, you lost Travis Hunter to a pretty bizarre injury. Bizarre in the sense of it's a very uncommon injury to put a timetable on, a timestamp on. And they're over here saying, sorry, I'm just not seeing the highlight of the fumble. Yes, it's very reminiscent of Louisiana Tech and Mississippi State. But the fumble in the Saints and Panthers game, I mean. But yeah, unfortunately for Colorado, yeah, I think the hype train is definitely slowed down a little bit. I think it's still going a little bit, but I do think, under the bright lights, they didn't look that good against a team who's very inferior. Yeah, I mean, Colorado State's not good in any sense. Uh, Granted, USF's not good either, and look, they kind of pushed Bama to the breaking point, or at least Saban. That
Yeah,
video of
I
Saban
mean,
running in after the delay or whatever, and he looked like he just got jumped or something.
they had
Um,
5 sacks on Bama's O line.
Bama's O line sacked their own quarterback five
No, no, no.
times. That
USF
sounds
had
like part of the
five
problem.
sacks on
Oh,
Bama's O line.
oh, oh,
Not good.
yeah,
Thanks,
no,
Booger.
yeah, good detective work there. Hope to let phone Alabama, let them know what the problem is. I think your O line's not doing too good of a job.
Juice of the
Um,
game. Score more points than other team.
yeah, yeah. And another loser I have on a serious note as well is the Denver Broncos. I mean, a very high scoring game against the Commanders. You only lose by 2 points. You really lose on a 2 point conversion, and unfortunately, you're outplayed the whole game. Now you're 0-2 at home, and like I said, the Sean Payton era thing isn't looking too good. People thought Russell Wilson would be the answer. Obviously, he's not. Like I said, you got some pretty serious weapons on offense, and you got Sean Payton. And like I said, newsflash, I guess Sean Payton's not that guy. Um, for what it's worth, they see improvement over your old coach, sure, but yeah, you're not. If you're the Broncos, I just people are pretty low on you, and like I said, the Sean Payton thing, I know that brought a lot of hype back to the team. Everyone thought it was going to be something different this year, and unfortunately for them, it's definitely not looking any different. But good for Russell Wilson on his Hail Mary, though. Like I said, very that's definitely not out of the norm for Russell Wilson to complete a Hail Mary. I don't know what it is with him and those, but yeah, big loser, Denver Broncos. Really, I guess this whole state of Colorado. I think that's what I was going to say. The state of Colorado, as in general, as being is just a loser. A loser is full of losers. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and
They're screwed.
I'm getting a little bit closer and closer each week of calling Sean Payton the biggest loser of the weekend.
Hmm.
One of these weekends, I mean, it's growing more and more and more evident that maybe Drew Brees was the reason for all of his success in New Orleans. Who would have thought a Hall of Fame quarterback would be that? But
No,
yeah,
Drew who?
exactly.
Never heard of him.
But yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's
So
all I have as well. And once again, as I stated, this episode will consolidate. We'll make up for our missed episode yesterday, and it's also going to kind of take up Wednesday's episode. At least until we figure out what to do with those episodes. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on our next episode, which will be Friday. Is there any UFC? There's UFC going on this weekend. No,
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Let me look.
yeah, I mean, it feels like we've become so
Ooh, Poirier versus Gaethje. No, it's just one of the. I guess my history. I pulled that one up for whatever reason.
All right, let's take a look. I'm looking. Dana White's Contender
Fiziev
Series
versus Gamrot. Oh, I forgot about that. So intriguing.
Oh, where do you see that at? I'm having trouble finding it. Oh, East.
Well,
I'm going back to. I'm going to Tapology. What am I doing? How dare
Rafael
I? How dare I
Fiziev.
use ESPN? How
Yeah,
dare I use ESPN to find out anything sports related?
yeah. Just type
That's
it
a
in
big loser.
UFC
That's a big loser. Our last big loser submission: ESPN and their app.
and their website.
Yes, it all
Which I will
around
say,
sucks.
at least their website is functional. But I mean, they haven't
Yeah,
updated it in a decade and a half. It feels like.
yeah. Screw you, ESPN. That's all I have to
Um,
say.
the card's okay, I guess.
That means it's
Got
gonna
a
be
few
great.
guys, a few big names on it. You got Fiziev, Gamrot, Bryce Mitchell, Dan Ige,
EA.
AJ Fletcher. Yeah,
Marcin Gomez is fighting.
Muhammad Usman.
Brian Battles on the main card and AJ Fletcher. Oh,
Yeah,
Jourdain on the main card. I mean, okay.
I mean, it might be a sicko card.
Oh, Jake Collier. Jake Collier and Muhammad Usman are fighting. Oh man, no. Maybe the most boring heavyweight fight known to man. Jake Collier sucks. Jake Collier sucks though. So like, I don't know. I remember how I was talking crap about a certain guy named Boudet. Yeah, freaking. And Jake Collier lost to Chris Barnett. Jake Collier has some disgusting losses.
But Chris Barnett?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but granted, I mean, Muhammad Usman isn't like the greatest heavyweight in the world. Yeah, that fight. That's like I said, it's going to be a. I haven't done any research, but I can tell you now.
Is that when Barnett did the front flip or whatever?
I don't think that was against Jake Collier. It may have been, but I don't think so. I think that was his next fight.
Yeah. So is Collier the guy that if you lose to, you just instantly get cut from the roster?
Yeah, and that's why no one in the heavyweight division is getting cut. Because no one's. I mean, Jake Collier's not beating anyone. The fact that Brian Battles on that main card, that's insane. Good for him.
AJ Fletcher.
Good for him. Yeah, I swear AJ Fletcher just fought.
Yeah, he didn't fight too long ago.
I know he's fought within the past year, maybe twice in the past year. But yeah, for what it's worth, I don't think AJ Fletcher's going to beat Brian Battle.
No.
Even though like Brian Battle is just still fresh out of the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, but we'll see. So I think that's all for us today. Zach, do you have any closing thoughts?
Nope. Yeah, just thank you for tuning in as always. And like I said, we'll catch you Friday. We'll have our UFC predictions, college football and NFL preview predictions as always, and maybe a little bit more. Who knows? We'll see what's in store.
Yep. Thank y'all for listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Peace.